We've all studied in history about the first man to land on the South Pole, Roald Amundsen. But I'm here to tell you the story of the second man that landed in the South Pole, and that is Dr. Edward Wilson. Dr. Edward Wilson was a physicist and an explorer who was part of the Scots expedition going to the South Pole. He wanted to script history and become the first man to land on the South Pole. But while arriving there on January 17, 1912, they realized that Roald Amundsen had beaten them to this record by 34 days. Heartbroken, Dr. Wilson and his team began their return from the South Pole. Now, while returning back, Dr. Wilson kept mentioning in his diary about a severe pain in the leg that he was experiencing, and this pain kept getting worse and worse as he started coming down. Now, on 29th of March, 12 miles away from his final base, Dr. Wilson mysteriously died. Throughout his life, Dr. Wilson always wanted to script records. He wanted to script history. And ironically, with his death, he did create one. The disease that Dr. Wilson died from, the one that he kept on mentioning in his diary repeatedly, was a condition called as exertional compartment syndrome. And this elaborate description in his diary went down in history books as the first detailed written record or description of a disease called as compartment syndrome. Now, what is compartment syndrome? Compartment syndrome is a condition in which the pressure within the osteofacial compartment rises to such a level that the tissue perfusion in that compartment reduces. And because of this, it can lead to fibrosis and few irreversible deformities. And that is why it is an orthopedic emergency which has to be treated immediately. The most common cause of compartment syndrome is tibial diaphyseal fractures. Now, the features of compartment syndrome can be easily remembered as the 5 P's: pain, paresthesia, paralysis, pallor, and pulselessness. The most important and the earliest sign of compartment syndrome is pain on passive stretching. The last sign, the least important sign of compartment syndrome, is pulselessness. Now, coming to the treatment of compartment syndrome, it is an emergency treatment that is fasciotomy of all compartments, preferably within 8 hours. So this was all about compartment syndrome. Happy learning.